been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop. Ho! Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me nice.
All right, well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Cristiano.
And today, first quarantine episode.
Yep.
A special episode for us. Wouldn't want anybody other than my guy, Mark Canale, joining us. And, we appreciate you, Mark. Appreciate you taking the time out to jump on this real quick.
Absolutely.
I know life's been moving for you. You really don't seem like you miss a beat. So I appreciate you just giving us, some time right now. But real quick, just for people, on my side who might not know who Mark Canale is and all that, introduce yourself a little bit, where you're from, what you do, things like that.
So I'm in South Philly. I work for Movement Mortgage, loan officer. Mortgages, you name it, I get you money. It's kind of my thing. So we do a little bit of everything, but it's kind of my thing. Try to do whatever we can to make the dream happen for home ownership.
How long have you been doing mortgages for, bro?
This is my fifth year.
Fifth year.
Yeah, I've been licensed for 5 years. And, it's just kind of like.
If you would ask me, I would have said 10 years.
It just clicked.
I feel you.
Yeah, it just clicked, bro. Like, it just, I just figured it out. And, but you know what? Honestly, it doesn't even, people ask me this shit all the time. And I don't really think it has anything to do with what business you're in. Like, I just think I just do business a certain way, and it would correlate to any industry.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for like 20% of what happens on a daily basis. Like, I'm the face, I set it up. I kind of figure out some, where the holes are and whatnot. But like, my team is, the people that I put in place, they're better. They're better at shit that I do. Like, and that's why they're in that role. So I think it would work in any business, like whether I was running a bar or whatever. I don't micromanage anybody. My name's on the front, but there's people that do things on a daily basis, and I reach out to them and I'm like, hey, they answer my questions. And then that's how I sound like I'm so smart, because I have smarter people around me that help me.
That's
and
good.
If you do that, I think it works on any platform. When you try to act like you're running shit and you really don't know shit, and you don't give your team credit, and you don't work together, nobody wants to work for you. Nobody wants to do any of that shit. So it's worked really well. It's worked out really well. So
Is that something that like you always like kind of wanted to get into, or like what were you doing to lead you to get into that? Like, were you a real estate agent before, decided to do loans?
Ironically enough, so like, I've always been entrepreneurial. It's always just been my thing. I always thought I worked harder than the people I was around. And I got tired of getting paid the same. So I always knew I had to be in something that was performance-based, which I think should be across the board.
Right.
I think everything should be performance-based. I think if you are more efficient behind the bar, you should make more money. I think everything in life should be performance-based. And you should just figure out what you're good at, and then you'll get paid more, I don't believe in salary. I don't believe in, because then when it becomes salaried, it becomes entitlement. So I always wanted to earn everything. So it just came to a point where I got out of the military. I was working in restaurants, doing my thing, and my father was a builder. So I was always kind of around it. And I just always thought I was going to do something in that industry. And I was kind of just deciding between insurance agent, realtor, and mortgages. And I didn't pick realtor or insurance agent, because loyalty is really important to me. And I felt like if I handled the money aspect of it, and I figured out a way to get you into a home that maybe no one else figured out, or, you're a first time home buyer and you're freaking out, and you call me on a Friday night and I answer it, and, I give you that attention and that communication, those people would never forget that. But if you're shopping insurance and Joe Schmo, whatever, has got a premium that's $50 less a year, they're just gonna be like, sorry, bro, I gotta go. Same with a realtor. I know realtors bring a lot of value on many levels, but But like, I've seen it so many times where they're just like, yeah, my brother's second cousin's boyfriend's a realtor, so I'm just going to use them. And it's just like, it's kind of a slap in the face. Like there is a reason why realtors get paid what they get paid. And the good ones bring a lot of value and education to the transaction. So I would be really offended if I was a realtor and I spent a couple months with you, you know, going over the different parts of town and comps and and all of a sudden you're like, hey, listen, my brother's just got his license over here. I'm just gonna, as if you're basically just filling out a contract. You don't value the position, and that would really frustrate me. But I thought when the money comes into play, I mean, I've talked to so many people that have been through 2 or 3 lenders and they couldn't figure it out, and then I figure it out, and like that person will never ever forget me, and they will tell 50 people. So like that's why I was like, you know what? It didn't even matter about more. I mean, I'm good with numbers, but I was just like, that's the kind of loyalty that I want, and it's proven to be right, because people do. When you impact somebody like that on their home, they're just like,
what's a big purchase, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I was in real estate for 3 years. My license in escrow right now. I just put it away. I just wasn't, I don't know, like something I would get back to later on. But yeah, dude, I had one of my friends was a lender, was a loan officer. And I met him through a process of a transaction. But he was like, the way he carried himself, the way he made things happen, you know, he gained my loyalty. And it's important when you have that connection with somebody who can, like, you know, make things happen. And not some people couldn't, you know, like you said.
And sometimes it's not even, and sometimes, you know what it is? It's like, there's some layups that you just look at the whole thing and it's like, wow, this is easy. There are a lot of easy ones too. But, you know, what a lot of people don't really do is they really treat it as a transaction. And you can't be transactional in this business if you want to grow it all. You know, you got to treat your $100,000 loans just like your $1 million loans. And if you do that and you genuinely build a relationship with your clients, you'll never have to worry about the money. If you look at the $100,000 loans, like you're going to put in all this work, and you're going to make peanuts on it, that client's going to feel it. They're going to know you don't give a shit about them. And you might get it closed, but the whole point of this business is to get referrals. Right. And shine above everybody else so that they go out of their way to tell people, like, you got to call this guy. Like, fuck Zillow, fuck all, like, you got to call.
If they want to sell 10 years down the road, they're not going to go, 10 years is a long time. People stay at their homes for a long time. But, it comes a time where they want to sell again. If they call you back 10 years later, like, you made an impact. You know what I mean?
I'm getting calls. So this is my 5th year, and I have a CRM, so, like, we touch them. Like, but I was with another bank for a year, and I've gotten calls, like, out of the blue, because I save every contact. I mean, I gotta have 3,000 on my phone. If I talk to you for more than 10 minutes and there was some kind of connection, I'm gonna save your number, put like some notes in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just never know when it's gonna come again, or if I close the loan, just so I can remember. And then when they call, there's always a name and a note to kind of trigger my brain. So when I pick up the phone, it could be 2 years. What's up, John? Holy shit! Like, you got my number, like. When you do, like, they can't believe it. And it's such an easy thing to do. It's so easy. Like, just that little touch right there.
You're a people person, and good people just go far in whatever field they're in. You're really good with people, I feel like, to an extent.
Well, I just don't bullshit. There's a handful of people that think I'm aggressive, that think I'm cocky. They think I'm I'm full of myself. There's going to be people out there. There's haters in life for everything. You know what I mean? But for the most part, people know that I'm genuine. I'm not trying to throw any money in anybody's face. I'm not trying to showboat. I'm not trying to do anything. I feel like when you get to a certain level in your career, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to, like, the people in your circle or around you to pay it forward in some capacity, whether it's monetarily, like, if you can. They always say if you can, you should, right? So if you're in a position to do something, you should, because it's always going to come back to you tenfold.
Comes back, yeah.
Oh,
comes back full circle.
Yeah.
You don't always worry about what's in it for me. Like I talk to people for 30 minutes and their credit is dog shit. Like they're not buying a house for 2 or 3 years, but you know, you spend 30 minutes with them and kind of educated them and like gave them that peace of mind that like, yo, we'll put you on a path. Like these are the steps. And like the fact that you did that and you weren't getting paid for it, like you just touched that person. Like they're just like, holy shit, they got it. And they will call you back in 2 years. Like they will, it'll happen. So even in my career, like if I have a loan officer or something from my company or another bank, I used to be a hard ass when I first got in. I was like, you know, if another loan officer, I was like, I'm going to eat you. Like, go fuck yourself. I was like, I don't care what bank you're from. I don't give a shit. I was just gonna be like, I'm gonna run you over. And then there was another, like kind of a mentor of mine, a friend, called me up one day. He was like, yo, do you know who I am? And I was like, yeah. I mean, he writes hundreds of millions of dollars. And he said, how do I know who you are? I'm like, I don't fucking know, dude. He's like, you've been in the business like 18 months. How do I even know who you are? I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing something right. He's like, we should do this. He wanted to like collaborate on like a group platform or something. And I was like, no, I don't need your help. I'm like, whatever. And he was like, yeah, we're 20 minutes away. Have you ever seen a pre-approval with my name on it? I was like, actually, no. He's like, that's how much fucking business is out there. He's like, why are you worried about what I do? He's like, we can make more, you know, what they say, you know, honey, whatever, like you get more bees with honey. He's like, dude, there's things I do well. There's things you do well. Like there's things your bank does well. There's things my bank does well. Like we should just work together. He's like, you're good at what you do. Like, let's collaborate. Let's like bounce shit off. And I was like, you know what? I was like,
makes sense.
That's a good point. Huh?
Yeah. Makes
sense.
sense.
I was like, that's a good point. I was like, I don't need any. So now it's completely changed me over the last 3 years. Like I'll talk to anybody. I don't fear any other person in my industry. Like if you want to, you know, take something I'm doing and use it for yourself, God bless, like have a good time. Like I hope it works out for you, make tons of money. Like great. Like I don't get salty. I used to really be like, yo, no, I did that. Now I'm like, yo, I'm flattered. You want to borrow it? Like use it for your own business. So yeah, it's just, you like evolve into that after I think you get to a certain point where, you know, it's flattering when people want to ask your opinion on things because they respect it. But like, I feel like you just owe it. You really do. You really just owe it. And it makes you, obviously makes you feel better, but you just get to a certain point where you have to do it. Like if you don't, you just don't, you know?
Before we carry any further into this conversation,
yeah.
You said earlier you were in the military before you started doing this?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the Air Force.
All right.
In the Air Force supporting special operations. I went in 2000, fucking old, 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, I went in 2003. And I spent 4 years in, and it was good. Like I needed a kick in the ass when I got out of high school, and I knew it. Like I knew I wanted to be successful, but I was like, I didn't really want to go to college. I didn't see any value in it. Like I was more of I knew I was going to always be the entrepreneurial type, but I was like, who's going to hire a 19-year-old kid that doesn't really have any prospects? So I just kind of took it upon myself. I went to the recruiter, I took the tests, and I picked a job, and I was like, this is badass, let's do it. And I had to wait like 3 months to get a spot, and I got a call like on a Thursday at 2:00, and they were like, we got one for you. Like, you got to leave in 2 hours though. So I just called my parents, and I was like, hey, can you help me pack this bag? And they were like, I didn't even tell them. I just rolled out. And it was good. It was good for me. I spent 4 years. I really only that was part of my problem with like, not an authority problem, but the military is very notorious for that. Like, you know, if you got one more strike than somebody else, they can tell you what to do. Otherwise it's insubordination, which is bullshit. Like you should never be able to do that. So that was a problem for me. I had a problem with that because I felt like I was better at something than someone that had been in 10 years, but it didn't matter. They don't give a shit. But it did teach me a lot. Like I was young. It gave me a nice kick in the ass when I was young. I was 23.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like I had a good time. I was traveling all over the world. It was fun.
That's crazy. I never knew you were in the Air Force. So that's
it's been a minute. I mean, I got out in 2008. So 12 years. Man.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
I'm only 36, man. I feel like I'm like 50. Jesus Christ.
You experience it.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
good, man. It's good to be a student of life and really have experiences like that. A lot of people don't experience enough.
Yeah.
So how right now, the world's in a completely fucking different place. Everything is upside down, and some people are benefiting, some people are hurting right now. How's business been for you? Has it been slower? Are you still, getting things done? I'm sure a lot of refinances and stuff like that's happening.
Well, so I was busy before
Yeah.
the pandemic. And there was like a 2 or 3 week lull where it was just such a shock that we did like pump the brakes on some of the guidelines that we do for lending, got a little strict. But once we figured it out and we realized like this isn't that bad, my bank is pretty liquid. We're what's called a mortgage bank. So we only do mortgages. So like you can't come in the Movement Mortgage and deposit a check, right? Like we're not depository. We're not TD Bank. We're not Wells.
Right.
It's a different model. They have their hands in like 100 different things. We just do mortgages. That's it. So our risk is a lot less. Like we don't have to worry about deposits or lines of credit or, retirement account. Like the risk is mitigated. It's just mortgages. So once we figured out like we didn't really have too much to lose, we kind of went back to normal. So like for me, I'm getting a lot of text and calls from people that are just like, well, we heard this is happening over here and this is happening over here. I'm like, cause this business as usual over here. I was like, send it over. They're like, can you close it in? Can you close it in 10 days still? I'm like, yeah, wrap it up. Let's go. Now I got to worry about, there's a little bit of like an appraisal issue we're dealing with right now. Like Wolf is kind of fucking everybody over right now. He's not letting people go in houses, but we're still getting contracts. People are still finding a way to put things under contract. So yeah, it's busy.
Yeah, and appraisals going into houses.
Yeah. Well, they're letting us do exterior onlys with pictures from MLS and stuff, but there's some stipulations you can't do it. Well, like cash out refis
have only an exterior appraisal. You know what I mean? I want the
whole thing. Well, no, so let me just tell you, there's some shit. There's some shit going down because it's only exterior. Like, I'm sure there's some places where like your kitchen is gutted and they're like, damn, they're not even coming inside. Normally that would be a problem. Right. So I'm sure there's some shit going on like that. But for the most part, I mean, rates are just stupid low. They're so low. It's disgusting. I mean, it's like stealing money.
Really? I was going to ask, like, what, how are the rates are now compared to before the pandemic? And I want you to talk about that next, like right now. But then after that, I want you to talk about explain what drives rates up and down. Yeah.
So rates are the lowest I've ever seen them in my life, in my 5 years of lending. And
really?
I'm pretty sure it's like historically they're right when the pandemic just started. That's the lowest that were ever. It was like in 80 something years. So what had happened was rates were already low, right? Historically rates, I've never seen a rate above like 4.99. Like in my life, I've never written one higher than that, unless it was like an investment property. Like that was when it really started to uptick. And honestly, in a good economy, 5-6% is normal. If people are making money, they can afford more house, the rates go up. That's just normal. So around like the end of 2018, early 19, we had some shit go down with Mexico. Then we had the shit go down with China. Anytime there's any kind of turmoil in the country or in the economy, people take money out of the stock market and they put it in the bond market. When people buy bonds, rates go down. Okay. There is no real platform or like rule as to this is what drives rates, but as just a gray, if I could just give you just something, if you turned on CNBC one day and the stock market was down 700 points, chances are my rates are better that day because people are selling their stocks and they're buying bonds. If they're buying bonds, my interest rates are going down. That's good. So anytime the world's fucked up, it's a good time to refi. Like, honestly, we used to joke. I mean, it's not really nice, but like if rates started going up, we're like, man, we need we need something. We need an earthquake or something like that. Like, because anytime there would be something that would add some instability, we knew the rates would settle down. So before the pandemic, they were low. Like they were already low, like mid threes, somewhere in that vicinity. And they were starting to go up again. But then that pandemic went down, and I swear to God, I never saw anything like it in my life. The volatility was so outrageous. I mean, we're talking, we were losing like a half a point in a day. Usually, you know, normal volatility, you lose like up or down, you get like an eighth a point in an interest rate, like in a day or two. We were getting a half a point in like 3 hours. Like I could quote you a rate at 1 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, it was a half a point higher or lower. Like
Wow.
It was bananas. We couldn't lock people fast enough. And it was just, so if you got that little like 2-week spread, you were just getting silly rates. And then they went up. And now the Fed started doing the quantitative easing, where they're buying the mortgage-backed securities up because there was no demand for them. So they're like, we're going to buy them. And that's what drives rates as well. So then they started buying them, and that kind of relaxed everything. So I'd say for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, the volatility's gone. We're back to like normal ebbs and flows of the market, you know, but we are the lowest. We're back down in the low threes again. Like it's
a good time.
They're not like
a good time to refinance.
Oh my God, we can't write them fast enough.
Yeah.
And refis are not, like, honestly, refis are not a way, you know, it's great. Like, I'm not going to turn down the money. And if I can help somebody, you know, my company is really big on, you know, what are you going to do with your position in life? Like we're given a certain amount of power. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can essentially change someone's financial future. Like, and I'm like, I've honestly heard people say like, Mark, you don't know what you just did for our family. Like for whatever way I can figure out a refi, like there's different manipulations you can do to a deal to make it better. And, you know, whatever it may be, you know, if the payment drops $500 a month and they were just like, we didn't even know how we were going to make this payment this month. Like you could just, when you have somebody tell you that, you're like, damn, I thought I was just writing loans here, but you're like really, you're really hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got
it's
more
a good
questions about that topic, but I don't know if Rob wanted to ask something. Do you want to ask something?
Well, I mean, no, you kind of touched it. I was curious because I think there was some confusion as far as like, you know, the market shifting during the pandemic right now. And I think people were under the impression that, you know, maybe it was getting a little harder or more strict.
It is. No, it is. Like this is an anomaly. Like, you know, I'm not here to like pump my company or anything, but like honestly, you know, I would tell you, I mean, like right now, I couldn't write a jumbo loan, right? My jumbo loan's trash. Someone called me for it, I would send it to one of my friends. So like, we're not great at everything. Yeah. You know, the bigger loans, garbage. Like I'm a half a point higher than everybody else. So I don't even write them. I just send them to a friend. I'm like, hey, listen, this is not my model. Like I got a buddy over here who's going to kill it for you. And they're like, oh, thanks. Like
That's
I don't even
good,
need
You're still bringing value because you got somebody that can do it. You know what I mean?
You will never build your brand by fucking people over. Somebody's going to figure it out. They're going to be like,
are you only like stationed to certain cities or counties? Like, can you do something in Jersey? Can you help
states?
State? Huh?
Yeah, I'm 5 states. I'm licensed in 5 states. Yeah, so
Okay.
I can write a loan in Erie, Pennsylvania, never meet the person ever. Like I don't need. It could be anywhere in Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Florida, North Carolina. I have all of them. So yeah, and I don't honestly, I don't have to ever see you. I could do everything via Zoom, phone. You could scan all the docs to me. I could send a closer to your kitchen table. Like I don't need. It's not that old school. I mean, I love it when people come to my office.
Yeah.
But we know that's probably not going to happen either very much here soon. But
how long do you think this is gonna, like, you know, rates would be good for? Like
at least until past the election. I think you're good for the rest of the year. And honestly, what happened was it was like I forget when they started raising them, but the Fed basically started, and again, like I know I put this on Instagram stuff, the Fed fund rate is not what drives the mortgage rate. Okay. So like when the Fed came out and said rates went to 0, my phone exploded. Like it fucking exploded. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I really need to let people know. Like everything, there are different components as to what drive mortgage rates. That is one small factor, but like that is the rate that banks borrow between each other on like 24-hour cycle. Like that is not That's different. They basically made the money free bank to bank, so that they don't get hit with that any interest bank to bank as they borrow on 24-hour cycles, so that the bank is then supposed to take that savings and give it to the consumer by changing the line of credits and the credit cards and the auto loans. Their rates go down. That's what that rate is connected to. The mortgage rates are connected to the bond market. It's completely, but they all have a little bit to do with it. So it's not, when they started to raise rates, that's when the shit started to hit the fan. And then they had to retract really quick. So I think what's going to happen is they went too fast the first time. They thought things were getting better and they started raising rates, and now we're back at zero, like fast. So I think now they're going to be like, all right, we fucked up. We kind of went a little too aggressive. And I think they're going to really take their time before they start easing back in and being like, all right, the economy's getting better. See what's happening. Like, nobody knows what's going to happen when everything gets back open. I mean, they're talking about middle seats on the airplanes are going to be empty forever. They're talking about putting partitions between treadmills and shit. Like, it's like on another fucking level of crazy. Like, I just can't. I mean, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I mean, like, nobody knows what level it's going to be. So, I mean, honestly, housing is what really stabilizes the economy, in my opinion. It's what brings things back. So they'll keep the rates low as long as they can to just give that added incentive to people to be like, yo, at least we can get into a home for a good price, you know, or a good, you know, monthly payment. So yeah, I think you got at least a year. I don't think we're going to see anything above 4% in a long time. But the election's really, I mean, it's huge.
It matters a lot.
It's really big as to what happens next. And again, we really don't want to turn this into a political thing, so let's not go down one because we could be here forever. And that's not really good listening, I'm sure. But yeah, that's real. It's gonna be really powerful. So, like, honestly, you're never gonna get anything like that in the last 6 months before an election. So you have the next 6 months are gonna be insanity. It's gonna be crazy.
Mark, talk about you know, I see you got the shirt on.
Yeah.
Where I see wearing the Miami Heat jersey, but
yeah.
talk about the recently, you know, a lot of people saw it, you know, it went around a lot on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. But, you know, you guys recently over at Movement did a TikTok video.
Yeah.
It was the Don't Rush challenge that you kind of organized and put together.
So that was just my brain on a Thursday night. I was like, I've tried to really up my social game because this is life now. Like, this shit here, this is it. Like, if you don't get on board, you're gonna they're gonna run you over. Yeah. Like, you know, I throw parties, right? Like, that's my thing. Like, I like to do events, invite everybody on. When the fuck am I gonna be able to do one of them?
I know.
People are scared to be within 3 feet of each other. Like, so how can I throw an event? So I've been just trying to be as engaged as possible in social media. And obviously the banking model is not what it used to be. Like, your parents went to the bank and the guy wore a suit and tie. Like, that shit's dead. Anybody that's still doing that is not relevant. Yeah. So I wanted to just think of something different. And I saw it on TikTok and I was like, you know what? Let me just get it regionally. I mean, I could have done a Philly thing, but honestly, I thought about my guys in Philly and I'm like, yo, this is going to take me fucking 3 weeks for people to actually respond. So I was like, when I get an idea, I'm like, yo, let's run with it. So I was like, literally a Thursday, I emailed like 8 people all over the loan offices I know at Movement, like in Florida, Texas, New Orleans, LA, all like Seattle, New York. And I was like, yo, listen, I got this idea. Here's the tutorial how to do it. Let's start, like, our brand is gear. Like, we're literally a t-shirt company that does mortgages. A lot of people say that, right? So I'm like, let's do this thing where we start in a suit, like a normal, like, dry ass banker. And
like a traditional style. And then you switch it into more.
You switch and you're in your t-shirt or you're in your,
you guys are.
Yeah, right. And it like, we got, I don't know, it was like 2,000 views, like, in a week. And then we'll talk about that in a minute, but I used that. It was just perfect timing that you guys connected with that too, because I was going to use it for some sort of a way to be like, hey, check out our brand, check out this cool video it did, plus use it for some platform for charity.
Yeah.
So we are huge on it. We do like fall drops and spring drops. Like it's huge. Like it's literally a thing. And it's no different than Mark Zuckerberg. Like you ever see what he says, like how much time he saves on a daily basis by not worrying about what he's wearing every day? Like, you know how much time I save by just throwing on a movement t-shirt every day? Like,
it's just easy.
You know?
I feel like it kind of sets a different tone with the client.
It humanizes me. Like, I'm not better than you. Yeah, I'm not a banker. I'm like, yo, I'm a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, just because the banker has this stigma, it doesn't have to be that way. So when I talk to a 25-year-old first-time home buyer couple and they don't know me, because you see my picture, I have to change it too. I have a like on my emails and stuff, I have like a suit jacket on. And it's not, I'm not wearing a tie, but like, and I don't look like that, but I have to change it to like what I'm really wearing every day. But they have this preconceived notion that it's like, I had a fear that it was going to be stuffy and like I was going to bulldoze them with all these like facts and stuff. And I'm like, nah, I like literally spend the first 20 minutes of almost every conversation I have just bullshit, just to kind of like clear the air, build a relationship.
Get to know
by the time we're doing it, they're just like, oh yeah, I guess we should take our app now. Like we're like boys now. They get that, they get comfortable. And then they meet me. If they've never met me, and when I like go to their closing or something, they're like, nah. I mean, like if it's a warm day and I roll up on the crotch rocket and they're like, you're not a loan officer, right? I'm like, what? Like what, we can't ride bikes? Like what this? I was like, stop with what the society told you what a banker's supposed to be. I'm like, we're here to change the game. So that's why I really connected with the t-shirts.
Yeah, no, that was a great video. It obviously did numbers and it did hits, and it reached a lot of different areas, which was definitely impactful.
Yeah.
But the first time I met you, Mark, you know, like I felt like I knew you for years, and I can say the same thing about a lot of people that work, you know, with you guys at Movement. You know, who else? Terry. You know, it's all good guys. So Mike, Brennan. You know, good guys. Who are just, you know, you are just. Like you move as a unit, but it's like a bond. Like it's more like a friendship.
It's very rare.
Like
it's very rare. It's very rare. I can tell you, like when people ask me that, I'm like, because I get recruited, LinkedIn, whatever. Like, you know, it's just we're in sales. Like, so other banks are gonna try to get you to come over there, and it's comical. I'm like, yo, listen, I'm not a grass is always greener guy. Like, I got solid leadership. I got, you know, anything I need, I get. Nobody breaking my balls about where I'm at, what I'm doing. They see what I'm doing. They let me run. My leaders, my CEO, like they give me every tool I possibly I need. Like, so, you know, money doesn't drop. I mean, listen, I like nice shit. Don't get me wrong. But like you write me a check to come to your bank is not, I can make my own money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to run out. And then your bank is dog shit. What am I going to do? Like I have everything I have here. And honestly, the leadership is so key. Like Spiro, you know, Spiro. Yeah, and then Mike's the next one, right? You met Mike at that one. Those are my two direct. Like, that's all. I mean, I know everybody else, but like, those are my two. And they're like my boys.
And they're great people. They're like your guys to go to. But
when does that happen?
Yeah, you don't really see
it. When does that happen?
Yeah, a lot of people are like shy from their boss. They don't want to, you know, go for a drink with them or maybe hang out and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it works. It works. And it's really, and then obviously you see us when we have the events with you guys and stuff, like it's nothing but love. Like we're just like,
it's all love.
We're like, if we're going to throw an event, like let's feed the family. Let's keep it all in house, you know? Yeah. Every one hand washes the other. So yeah, it's been 3 years in April. Yeah. And every time someone calls me, I'm like, listen, you got nothing for me. I'm like, I'm flattered you want me to come over, but like, I'm not. They're like, well, let's get a lunch and talk. I'm like, I can buy my own meal. Like, it's cool. Like,
I'm good on that.
Because this is awkward. I have no intentions of coming to your spot. So why are you gonna, like, I'm gonna just take you for a sandwich.
Yeah, you're one of the most like supportive people that I know. And it means a lot because I try to support and collab. And you know, when I see people who are passionate in what they do, like I like supporting people for things like that. And I always see you, like you're always supporting me and Cristiano with things we got going on, from personally to at the bar. You know, Elise, you're always sending her orders and you know, supporting her. Even the tradesmen's, the donation for the GoFundMe. I saw you guys donated. You know, you're just a very you're always a part of something, and I like that. And I was glad that me and Cristiano and Elise and, you know, Santiago and everybody collab on what we did today. You know, in result to that video you put out. You know, we fed 3 hospitals. We fed 3 of the largest hospitals in the city: Temple, Jefferson, Penn. You know, Mark put up a huge donation, and you know, we teamed up with a couple other local small businesses, and it was a great turnout. You know, Mark, I know you were busy.
It was a perfect storm. When I made that video, I was looking, you know, there's obvious selfish reasons to everything, but it'd be nice if there's a mutual benefit across all platforms, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, let me make this video. I'm going to obviously get the exposure from all that. I said, but let's use this as a way for, I was like, I'll donate the money and we'll just connect it to shares, right? And I even told the other loan officers included, I'm like, yeah, listen, take this idea and run with it. You know, and they did it too. They were like, oh, this is great. I'm like, this is the hot thing right now. So we're just going to wing it. It's going to work. And then say $5 a share, 10, whatever you want to do, use it to yourself. I said, I'm going to do $5 a share. We got as many shares as we could. And I was going to donate it anyway. But then it was like, all right, this is perfect. Then when I met with Elise, obviously, you know, like my heart breaks for the shit you guys are going through. And like, it's like bittersweet because, you know, my business is, I'm still at a high level right now. So I'm just like, you know what, anything I can do. I told her when I was like, I bought like 60 of them and like handed them to my assistant. I'm like, whatever, I'll pay double for them, whatever. So I was like, the fact that when I told her that, I was like, listen, if there's anything you guys are doing, and then she told you, and it was great. So like, I got some advertising out of it, you know.
It's funny, Mark, it's funny because before we even spoke about you doing your video, I got empanadas off of Elise for the first time. And I called Santiago and Elise, and I was like, yo, these are fucking great. I was like, you've got something here. Obviously, they're good. But I want to buy a bunch, and I want to donate to them and you know, send them to the hospital. And Elise was like, you know, call Mark Canale, text Mark Canale. He's buying dozens every time I do an order. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like Mark.
I mean, they're banging. I put them in my freezer too. Like, I know she's not going to make them for 2 more weeks, so I'll put 20 of them in my freezer and like go every time. So, yeah, it was like, you know what? If we can do something where, you know, we film this cool little video, you know, we get some marketing out of it. It's cool. It like gives people something to smile at, and then we can support a small business like Elise, right?
Yep.
And then we can support your venture as well with the podcast and doing what you guys are doing. It was like, then we tied in Terminies, right?
Yeah.
You know, South Philly love on there too. So like it hit so many spots. So it's just like, it's not selfish. I mean, like, yeah, we all got a little bit out of it, but like it all helped everybody for really wasn't like, it was just, it hit on so many levels. It was perfect. So yeah, I mean, it was great that you guys spearheaded that. I mean, I helped out any way I could. And like, tell me how that reaction was. Like when you guys,
it was awesome. I literally, you know, had nurses calling me, FaceTiming me, texting me, thanking me, sending me pictures of the entire, you know, package that we sent over. You know, we hit 3 different hospitals. You know, all dealing with COVID patients, you know, a lot of nurses, because the food we gave out, we gave out essentially every hospital got 50 empanadas, 150 total. And then we got 10 pounds of cookies and pastries from.
Yeah, it's like 100 cookies a hospital.
It was like 100.
Was it really?
It was like 100 cookies a hospital. And
I wasn't sure if it was going to be enough food or maybe too much. I didn't know really I wouldn't know how to gauge it.
I didn't know exactly either how it was going to work out, and it ended up being a lot of food to where you know, units were giving it to other nurses in different units, and a lot of people were eating. We gave them a nice thank you letter from all of us on behalf of, you know, Movement and Mark, yourself, and all of us. So it was a great turnout, and it felt good. It felt like. It really did feel good, man. Just
we documented the whole thing. You know, you're gonna see a video on that.
Yeah, we got a nice video of it. It was
just like that works on some it just works. I mean, like, you know, and I appreciate the kind words. It's just so much easier when you're in a position to do more, you know, it's so much easier than being a dick and keeping it to yourself. Like, I don't understand what's so fucking hard about it. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a position you do well and you pay it forward, and, you know, you're not trying to showboat. You're not trying to like be like, look at what I have. You're like, yo, I'm in a position to do something. If you get to that level too, you should do it too. So like, I don't think I'm like reinventing the wheel, but apparently, like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But it goes back to what you said. It goes back to what you said, man. One hand washes the other, and that cycle is just going to continue giving you blessings, and
it comes back and multiplies on the way back.
It really does.
Reciprocation is the best thing you can do. One person. I mean, like, I don't look in the yellow pages or the internet for anything. Like, I've got a number for somebody who I can ask for something on damn near anything. So, and that network just builds and builds and builds. So, like, even if I don't have a guy, I got a guy who has a guy. So, like, and that just is, I want to have that kind of network where they're like, yeah, when Mark calls me or he vouches for this guy, like, I know he's no bullshit. Like, I want that kind of reputation. Not like, yeah, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. You don't really know what he says. You can't really take his word for anything. Like, I don't want anybody to ever say that about me. They may say I'm a dick, but that's only because you didn't like the truth hitting you. It hurt too much.
Well, yeah, some people can't handle just a real person. So, and that's fine. You know, it is what it is.
I can't make everybody happy. I stopped worrying about that a long time ago. I was just like, I know I'm a good person. I do what I can to help any way I can. You know what? If somebody's got some bad blood for me or some hate, then they got their own demons, bro.
Mark, I know, you know, events and networking is a big thing for you. You know, you get a lot of referrals. You get a lot of different, you know, you generate leads in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, what's, you know, where would you rank, you know, social media on that ladder as far as, you know, gaining business and you know, gaining leads? Do you get?
Social presence is huge now because it's 2020. Yeah. You know, I'm still old school. I'd say like 75% of my leads, other than my referral partners, like realtors and stuff, I get a lot from prior clients. It's huge. Like, I'll just get a call. Hey, you did my brother's loan. I need to get pre-approved. Like, he said you were the man, like, whatever. I get a lot of those, but I've also spent the last couple of years really building up my Zillow profile. Like, I want you to Google my name and I want to fill up the whole first page, because it's great that you say a nice thing. It's great that they say a nice thing. But if you can read 150 unbiased reviews about everything that my team and I have done, and well, obviously I didn't fake all those. So, like, online presence is really, really important to me. And I do get a decent amount of leads that just, they're like, yeah, I read through the first 2 pages and I was like, I got to call this dude. Like, I talked to 3 lenders and they can't do it. Like, I feel like you can figure it out. I just got one today. I mean, like, I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what the problem is. They're like, well, they say we can't do it. I'm like, well, I can do it. And I don't know, but that is especially the way I have to really get aggressive with it, because I don't know when my next event's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
I
mean, I would throw one tomorrow. I'm thinking like
outside thing, probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But like,
the movement events hit. They always hit. Movement, you know, from Mark or all you guys.
Outdoors, man. I mean, there's millions of people who go to art museums, so it's not like, you know.
They're catching
I saw people down the street. I think I was just telling you before we even went on this. Like, they were outside the bar just drinking. Like,
yeah, I mean, I had a few friends over on the roof. Like, listen, I'm completely fine with it. Like, honest to God, if you wash your hands and you have it, and you have a hand coughing on me, like, come on, man, I gotta live my life. Like, I'm getting a little loopy. Like, you know, go upstairs, downstairs, upstairs. Like,
it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny to see this summer everybody on the beach with a fucking mask on.
I will take my fucking Corona chances. Right? Like,
yeah.
we were watching, like, Barstool did that rant. He was like, I'll take my chances with Corona. Like, just,
that's all.
You should
just let me go.
Take your chances.
you have to take the proper precautions. And if you're over 75 or whatever, or you want to stay the fuck inside. But like, I can tell this must be what animals feel like in cages sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a little caged. And honestly, like, it just hurts me to see businesses just crumble. I mean, like, Teddy's going to eat, but like, you know, most people are like,
Hurt.
they run almost month to month.
Yeah. A lot
And
of businesses. Yeah.
I just can't even imagine. Like, I'm in the fortunate position. If I built a brand over a decade and I just lost it like that, I would be burning the capital down. Like, I just can't imagine how people are dealing with that right now.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you there's people out there though that have put a decade into their business. This happened, but I'll be like, I won't be surprised if someone's like, you know what? I actually want to, like, maybe it's time to do something new. I did 10 years of this. Maybe this is the sign. Let me do something different. Maybe they weren't liking that. Maybe they, you know, you get so deep into it. Yeah, you make some good money, but
I'm sure there's gonna be some people. I'm sure there's gonna be some people that, yeah, like this was a reality check. Like, we needed a kick in the ass.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one that got it. This is a sign. Like, let's get rid of it. Let's move on to something else. Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
We saw a crazy fire today.
Oh man, that was fucking wild, yo.
Yeah, and the first thing I said was, man, they probably
Jewish lightning.
exactly. I was like, yeah, they're going under. Might as well light this boy.
Like, we were fucking we were like face to face with this fucking fire. It was wild.
Yeah, we were literally right in there with the fire people. It was wild. And
North Philly?
Northeast.
Oh.
And the one lady, like, was like, that place been there for years. Like, a long time that place has been there for.
Yeah, they need a new you know.
Let it match.
That's all.
That's it. Let it match.
I never been that close to a fire.
To a fire?
That was the closest.
That was insane.
I felt like I could have put a helmet on and you gave me a hose and I could have.
Like, I wanted to help hold the hose.
Was it an explosion, or just like you were just hanging out and all of a sudden the flames started coming?
We were on the way to one of the hospitals, or on the way to get our merch. After the last hospital, and we just saw this like crazy wave of dark smoke.
It was right up the street. Yeah, it was right there, so we checked it out. Like, fuck, it was crazy.
Yeah,
but
nuts.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude. Mark, what would you like? What advice would you give somebody who's looking to pursue a career in what you're doing, who's just starting out?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little story, right? So when I first started, I mean, I just knew when you just have that drive, like, I knew I was going to be successful in some capacity. Like, I would have just kept trying something else until I found it, right? I just happened to find it on this one. I don't do it anymore, but like in the beginning, you call people. Hey, can I get an appointment? Can we talk about whatever? So I call this one agent, and she's like, I can't talk right now, but let's talk at 2:00 on Thursday. And I'm like, bet, let's put it in, but I'm done. So I call her on that day, right? And she's like, hello? I'm like, yeah, it's Mark. Got 2:00. She's like, wow. She's like, you actually called on the day and time you thought you said you would. I'm like, yeah, the fuck? Like, I told you I was going to call. Like, is that, like, so I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're going to do well in this business. And I was like, why is that? It's like, because everybody's full of shit. Then no one ever does what they say they're going to do. No one keeps their word. It's always like, I need more time, or I'm sorry, like, I lost your email, or some bullshit excuse for everything. Yeah. She's like, if you're real, you're authentic, you know,
keep your word.
You're going to go far. And that's not even just in loan offices, but like, that's for me, when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars and somebody's life, like, that's me too, right? I get a high off that. Like, I like being relied on. Like, I want you to say, I know when I tell Mark to be here at 2:00, you don't have to call me the day before and say, are we still on? If I don't tell you there's an issue and, hey, I'm going to be late, or, hey, can we reschedule? I could be a month ago. If I told you I'm coming on the 22nd at 2:00, you can bet I'll fucking be there on the 22nd at 2:00. And I don't really get offended when people follow up and they're like, hey, we still on for tomorrow? Because I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just flake. Or they're 20 minutes late and they don't have the decency to just send you a text like it's 2020. You can't drop me a text. Like your time's better than mine, more important than mine. But like that in my industry, I feel like a lot of my success is because if I say it's doable, it happens. And if it can't be done, you didn't get jerked off for months and months and months and then figure out it didn't work. I tell you now, like, hey, listen, they're not ready right now, but I'm going to work with them for 6 months. I'm going to get them there. I'll let them know when you can call, move on to another project, like go find another client somewhere else. And I feel like that is really, it's really, people really like that aspect of my, whether it's my personality or the way I run my business. And you can't be, you just can't be like an elitist. Like I joke, I'm like, yeah, I'm the man, I get this done. But like, everybody knows I'm humble about my team and what gets me there. Like, I mean, I can't say enough nice things about my company, my team, everybody that supports me, that gets me there. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous how many people I have in my circle. Like, you have to be humble on that level to know that, yeah, you're the loan officer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could put it into any business. I mean, you could say, Teddy, he owns the bar, but like, honestly, is he gonna do every job? You know what I mean? And this isn't anything about him or anything. I'm just using it because that's something you guys can relate to. It's in any business. Like you have to let your team know how valuable they are, and they will go through a brick wall for you. I mean, it's like, it's that important. So at least in my business, if you want to get into basically the relationship business, like we're not in the mortgage business. It's relationship building every single day. You're talking to a 22-year-old girl or a 47-year-old investor or whatever. It's all about relationships. Like the mortgage aspect of it is super easy. So if you got to be able to talk to people, be authentic, be real, and give it to people straight. Don't jerk them off. You say you're going to do something, do it, and you will be wildly successful. Like, honestly, don't think about the money. Don't think about, don't trip over dollars to get the pennies. Don't think about, I'm only making this amount of money. Think about how you're changing that person's life and nobody else wanted to talk to them. You took the time to talk to them. You got it done. And they're going to tell 30 people how great you are. And they're going to tell 30 people. And then so on and so on, to the point where your phone will just ring because people want to talk to you. And it'll just snowball. It'll just snowball. Like it really will.
Honesty, integrity. Okay.
It's so important. Like,
so important.
I'm not saying I don't tell, a little fib every once in a while, but I'm not fucking with people's, homes and people's money. Yeah. Like a realtor sends me a deal. Like I take a personal, like I'm like, all right, I got your money. Like I have your money. If I don't get it closed, you don't eat. Like that's how important that is. And then they don't get in the home. Like our job is so important. I take it really seriously. And, there's different levels of my job. There are low level call center, whatever. And, they don't give a shit like I do. I mean, this is my hood. If I screw something up, it's going to spread like a wildfire. So, what people say, not like what people think, but like what people say about my business and how I approach it, it's important to me. So I want to make sure that people know that I'm genuine and authentic, and whatever people joke about my hashtag, I don't give a fuck about it. Like,
which hashtag?
Authentic AF that I have on my t-shirts and everything. Like that's how strong I feel about authenticity. Like it's that I put it on my t-shirts. I put it on every post. Like I want you to know, like there's no passive aggressive in my brain. Like I don't know how to do that. I will tell you to your face. And if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. If you're like, whatever, like, let's move on, own it and move the fuck on. Like, I don't have time. Like, I can't keep that on me. Just
a lot of people aren't comfortable being themselves, so they're not authentic, and it's refreshing to be around people who just are themselves, regardless if people talk shit or, like you said earlier, or not, just
don't jerk me off. It's okay if you don't like me.
Just do what you like, and nothing else matters. No other opinion matters. So as long as you're happy, that's all that fucking matters.
And honestly, if you do it the right way, it'll
work out.
it will. I'm telling you, it will. Like if you just do you're authentic. You're good to other people. Like you don't act like you're better. Like that, the one-uppers, like if you don't do that, I mean, like you might think off the bat, you're like, man, I'm just spinning my wheels here. But like people will notice. You just keep doing it. You don't do it for anybody else. You do it for yourself. But like it'll just happen that way. Like,
Some
and
people
then the
might
business
in their head put that might think a certain way about somebody though, and it's completely wrong. Like it's their fault too for thinking a certain way about somebody. You know
sure.
what I mean?
Like if I probably judge a little bit. I mean, sure. But I'm telling you. I mean, listen. The last like 3-4 years, like I've grown. I mean, I can even acknowledge how far I've grown in the last 3 years. Just personally, you know, just I saw myself when I was like 32, 33, and like I'm just completely different. So sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you know whatever happens in your life, like sometimes you change for different reasons. But I don't have any problem telling somebody I'm wrong. It actually makes me feel better because I don't like uneasy relationships where there's like animosity, anything like that. You know, even my team, right? Somebody makes a mistake, I don't steamroll you. What the fuck's your problem? Like I'm like, yeah, let's jump on a call. What was the problem? Like, where's the disconnect? How do we fix it? You know, you can make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Like I will never, whether it's in life or in my day life or my job, I will never make you feel like a piece of shit for making a mistake. If you own it, say I fucked up. This is how we're gonna fix it. And you know what? Moving forward, like boom. And then like when you talk to people like that, they're like, oh, it is okay to make a mistake. Like I'm not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like it works. So I've had so many interactions with my team where there's been like I could have just exploded if I wanted to. I mean, I could have torched them, like some errors where I'm like, wow. But it's just worked out so much better by coming at them with like more of a constructive approach.
Yeah.
They leave that conversation. We're like, okay, it's okay to learn. It's okay to make a mistake. And it's the same thing with people that I interact with on a daily basis. Like, I'm not going to agree with everything and I might not like you, but I still want you to eat. You know, like I don't really hate. If I do, I just don't even like, there's probably a couple people I hate. Let's be real.
But
this segment here, Mark, that we're doing is called Coming in Hot.
Okay.
All right? We're doing it at the end of all of our episodes.
Uh-huh.
We rolled it out, you know, probably our last 2, you know, most recent episodes, but pretty much we just throw a topic at you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll throw like a couple topics at you, and then use the first thing that comes to your mind, and then you say it. All right. So.
What, the like one word answers? I just give you
I'm gonna give you a topic, and then you're gonna give me a 1-word answer or a sentence or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, whatever comes to your mind. First,
better. Yeah.
First thing comes to your mind. All right.
Yeah.
First thing. Suits.
Funeral. Like that's why I wear them. Like I thought, you know, and don't, you know, or weddings. You know, like I can wear a fire suit, but they're just. Yeah, it's like formal functions only. I don't. I think you can rock a black tee and some like fire sneaks and some like, and it looks way better than a suit.
All right, this summer.
It's fucked.
Fuck.
It's fucked. Yeah. It's done. Concerts are canceled. Beaches are going to be 8 feet apart from everybody. I mean, like I think we just chalk this one up.
Chalk it up.
Yeah, chalk it up, hopefully, and hopefully we come back next year stronger than ever.
Sports games without fans.
I'll take anything at this point.
You'll take it.
Anything. I don't want it. I will take.
Well, I'll take it though.
I'm watching Korean baseball. What's this? Your first day, Rob? Come on.
Yep. I turned my phone off, and I'm still getting calls on my Apple Watch.
I'm watching Korean baseball. Like I waited so I could binge the last like 6 episodes of The Last Dance. Like I didn't realize how and it's, I like to bet on some sports a little bit too, but like I cannot wait. I'll take an empty stadium. I don't give a shit. I need it back. I need it bad.
Small business owners.
I'm heartbroken for them. Like I know what it's like. I mean, like I work for Movement Mortgage, but I'm 100% commission. So I don't pay the rent, but I eat what I kill. Like if I don't earn, I don't work, I don't get anything. There's no base pay in my business. Right. So I don't have the liability of paying their rent and paying the employees, but I feel that same vibe. I don't know what else. I don't know what else that could be done. I mean, like it's getting to the point where it's almost like you feel like there's like a personal vendetta. You're like, yo, what's the deal here? Like, let's put some practices in place. Yeah. Let's try to think of a middle ground where it works for everywhere. Even if you let us open the door for 50%, like something. Like they just squashed that. What was the takeout drinks thing? It's got to go back. Like get over the bullshit. Like people got to eat. People got to I could talk about that all day. It fucking blows. They're in a shitty position, and if I was anything I could do, I would. It just fucking sucks.
My final one. Mark Canale.
Me? Authentic AF, baby.
Authentic AF.
Yeah. Me. Now I want to be the person that honestly, like I don't want to say I care what people think, but like I want people to think when they think of me that I'm genuine in my intentions, and I'm authentic every time, and I don't patronize you. Like when I tell somebody like, yo, give me a call this weekend, I'll help you out. Like that's usually, most people are just jerking you off. Like if I'm busy, I'm going to be like, wish I could help. I can't, but if I tell you to call me. If you need, like, I want people to know that my shit is genuine, and I want to be as wildly successful as possible. But I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's I owe it to whatever to pay it forward any way I possibly can. So that's what I'm saying about that mindset. Like if you can, you should. And I really take that to heart. Like if I'm in a position where I can do something, I'm going to do it every time. So.
Love that. Well, thanks, Mark. This has been amazing. You've been amazing. Thanks again for the donation.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I think did Rob freeze?
Yo, Rob, seriously. He's frozen.
Rob?
He's in the basement Wi-Fi.
Oh, man.
Yo, listen, I appreciate the invite. Anytime I can help.
I don't know
what's going on. Look, on my screen, I got kicked out.
It's all good. Technology. So,
Mark Canale, authentic as fuck. Anybody needs a fucking mortgage?
Yeah.
Or fucking advice on how to get a fucking mortgage?
Hit me up.
My guy up.
Yeah.
Man. Mark Canale 7 on Instagram.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell him Instagram.
Yeah, say your Instagram, Mark.
Yeah, it's at Mark Canale 7. You just type my name in.
Yeah, if you have any questions, hit this man up. It's a great time to buy right now. You know what I'm saying? Or if you just want knowledge, I'm sure he'll give it to you. And he definitely knows a guy that knows a guy. If he doesn't have the answer, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, friends.
Yeah, it was great, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
all right.
Mark. Thank you, bro.
Take
Take
care.
it easy, guys. Thank you.
They've been trying to stop the wave, but the wave don't stop.